The desperate gambit. The bridge of Horizon's edge shuddered as another impact rocked the massive space station. Warning lights painted the command center in shades of crimson, casting eerie shadows across Commander Krell's elongated features. His four arms moved frantically across the control panels, each limb performing a different critical task as his compound eyes tracked multiple displays simultaneously. "Shields at 17%, reported Lieutenant Vera, her usually melodic voice strained with exhaustion. The young Karathi officer had been at her post for 36 hours straight, her delicate wing membranes drooping with fatigue. Krell's mandibles clicked in acknowledgement. He knew the statistics by heart now. 3 million souls aboard Horizon's Edge, the crown jewel of the Karathi Federation's Deep Space Research Network. In the past week, they had lost contact with 12 other stations. Each had sent the same final transmission. Shadows moving through their corridors, crews disappearing without a trace, then silence. The Voidwalkers had come. "Sir," Communications Officer Trill's voice cut through the chaos. "The Council has denied our request for military support. They're calling it a localized anomaly and advising evacuation protocols." A bitter laugh escaped Krell's throat. Evacuation? With what ships? The Voidwalkers had systematically destroyed every vessel that attempted to leave the station. Their biomechanical forms seemed to phase in and out of reality, making conventional weapons nearly useless against them. Through the main viewport, Krell could see them now, writhing masses of darkness that moved like living shadows. They weren't ships in any conventional sense. The Voidwalkers were something else entirely, part machine, part organism, all predator. They consumed technology and biological matter alike, growing stronger with each conquest. "Commander," Security Chief Dax approached, his scarred carapace reflecting the emergency lights. "We've lost sectors 7 through 12. The creatures are adapting to our weapons faster than we can recalibrate. At this rate, we have perhaps 6 hours before total containment failure." Krell's primary eyes closed for a moment. 6 hours. 6 hours before 3 million lives were extinguished, absorbed into the hungry mass of the Voidwalkers. The Karathi were an ancient species, proud members of the Galactic Concordat. They had explored the stars for millennia, catalogued thousands of worlds, made contact with hundreds of species. And now they would die here, in the cold depths of space, forgotten by the very alliance they had helped forge. "There is one option," Vera said hesitantly. All eyes turned to her. The young lieutenant's wings fluttered nervously as she continued. "Sector 89. The human territories." The bridge fell silent except for the constant alarms. Even in their desperate situation, the mention of humans caused an involuntary shudder among the crew. Humans, the Deathworlders. The species that had evolved on a planet so hostile that the Galactic Concordat had classified it as uninhabitable by any reasonable standard. "The humans are not members of the Concordat," Dax growled. "They're isolationists, dangerous ones. The stories won't save us," Krell interrupted. He had heard the tales, of course. How humans thrived in environments that would kill any other sentient species. How they waged war with a ferocity that horrified even the warrior castes of other races. How their world, Earth, had spawned predators so terrifying that humans had evolved to become apex predators themselves just to survive. But Krell had also heard other stories. Whispers of human rescue operations in impossible conditions. Tales of their unconventional thinking. Their ability to find solutions where others saw only death. Their stubborn refusal to accept defeat. "Sir," Vera pressed, "the humans maintain a listening post just inside Sector 89. It's only 40 light-years away. If we boost our distress signal—" "They won't come," Dax insisted. "Humans don't involve themselves in Concordat affairs. They've made that clear since first contact." Another explosion rocked the station. A section of the outer hull simply disappeared, consumed by the encroaching darkness. Through the breach, Krell could see the Voidwalkers flowing like a tide of oil, their forms shifting and changing as they devoured everything in their path. "Do it," Krell commanded, his voice cutting through the debate. Boost our distress signal. Direct it to Sector 89. Commander. Dax began. What do we have to lose? Krell's compound eyes fixed on his security chief. We're dead anyway. If the humans ignore us, we're no worse off. If they come? He paused, considering the implications. If they come, at least someone will know what happened here. Someone will know we fought. Vera's fingers danced across her console. The station's powerful communication array, designed for deep space research, reconfigured itself. Energy diverted from failing shields powered up the transmitters. Within moments, a focused beam of desperate hope shot across the cosmos toward human space. The message was simple, broadcast in every human language on file. This is Horizon's Edge. 3 million lives in immediate danger. Hostile entities designated Voidwalker's consuming station. All defenses failing. This is our final transmission. Please, help us. For long minutes, nothing changed. The Voidwalkers continued their inexorable advance. Systems failed one by one. The crew prepared for the end with the dignity befitting their ancient race. Then Vera's console chirped. Commander, she whispered, her voice barely audible over the alarms. We have a response. The bridge fell silent again. Even the constant rumble of impacts seemed to fade as Vera put the message on speakers. The voice that filled the bridge was unlike any Kerethi vocalization. Deep, resonant, and carrying an odd undertone that made their auditory membranes vibrate uncomfortably. Horizon's Edge. This is Admiral Sarah Jung of the United Earth Defense Force. Message received. Hold your position. The cavalry's coming. Dax scoffed. One ship. What can one human vessel do against? He was cut off as space itself seemed to tear open. Not one ship emerged from the quantum foam. Not 10. Not even 100. The human fleet materialized like a thunderclap of defiance against the dark. Massive dreadnoughts bristling with weapons that defied conventional design. Carriers that disgorged swarms of fighters moving in patterns that hurt to watch. Ships that seemed to be built from asteroids. Others that pulsed with energies the Kerethi couldn't identify. At the center of the formation, a vessel that made even Krell's hearts skip a beat. The UES Prometheus, a ship that looked less like it was built and more like it was grown, its hull covered in what appeared to be scales that shifted and moved, adapting to some unseen rhythm. Horizon's Edge. Admiral Zhang's voice came again, and now they could see her on their screens, a human female with eyes that held a predator's focus and a smile that was all teeth. I need you to lower what's left of your shields on my mark. Things are about to get interesting. Lower our shields. Dax sputtered. That's suicide. But Krell was watching the tactical display. The human ships were moving in formations he'd never seen before, creating geometric patterns that seemed random yet purposeful. Energy signatures spiked across the fleet, building to levels that made their sensors scream warnings. They came, Vara breathed. The Deathworlders actually came. Not just came, Krell corrected, his mandibles clicking in what might have been the Kerethi equivalent of grim satisfaction. They'd brought their entire fleet. As the Voidwalkers turned their attention to the new arrivals, the darkness that had seemed so invincible suddenly faced something it had never encountered before. Humans, the children of a death world, who had looked into the abyss of space and decided it wasn't nearly dangerous enough. The battle for Horizon's Edge was about to begin. When Death Worlds answer. Admiral Sarah Jung stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, her hands clasped behind her back as she studied the tactical display. Around her, the controlled chaos of a human warship in battle configuration played out with practiced efficiency. Officers called out readings, specialists monitored weapon systems, and the ship's AI whispered calculations directly into her neural implant. Voidwalkers are responding to our presence, reported Commander Torres, her executive officer. They're hesitating, Admiral. The pattern analysis suggests confusion. Zhang's smile widened slightly. Good. They've never encountered anything like us before. Let's keep them guessing. She activated the fleet-wide comm. All ships, execute pattern Sigma 7. Let's show these shadows what happens when you threaten civilians in human-protected space. The human fleet moved with a coordination that defied logical explanation. Ships that seemed to be retreating suddenly reversed course. Fighters flew in spirals that created sensor ghosts. The asteroid ships revealed themselves to be massive kinetic weapons platforms. And through it all, the Prometheus remained at the center, its biometallic hull beginning to glow with an inner light. On Horizon's edge, Commander Krell watched in bewilderment as the human ships danced through space. What are they doing? There's no tactical advantage to these maneuvers. Sir, Vera's voice was awed. I'm detecting massive psionic emanations from the human flagship. They're using synchronized consciousness as a weapon. The realization hit Krell like a physical blow. The stories were true. Humans hadn't just survived their death world. They'd mastered abilities that other species considered impossible. Abilities born from millions of years of evolution on a planet where even the plants were predators. Admiral Zhang's voice cut through the comm channels again. Horizon's edge, shields down in 3, 2, 1, mark. Against every instinct, Krell gave the order. The station's remaining shields flickered and died. What happened next would be recorded in galactic history as the moment everything changed. The human fleet didn't just attack the Voidwalkers, it sang to them. Every ship broadcast a specific frequency, each note calculated to resonate with the Voidwalkers' biomechanical structure. It was a song of defiance, of protection, of the fierce joy that humans found in impossible battles. The Voidwalkers, creatures that had consumed entire civilizations, recoiled. For the first time in recorded history, the shadows screamed. Now, Zhang commanded. The Prometheus unfurled like a living thing. Its hull split open, revealing not weapons in any conventional sense, but something far more terrifying. A directed empathy projector, technology reverse-engineered from humanity's darkest predators. Their own mirror neurons weaponized. The device fired, and suddenly the Voidwalkers experienced something they had never encountered in their eons of existence. Fear. Not just fear, human fear. The concentrated terror of a species that had evolved alongside saber-toothed cats, venomous snakes, and environmental disasters. Fear that had been transformed through millions of years into something else entirely. Courage. The shadows writhed, their perfect coordination shattered. They had consumed countless species, absorbed their knowledge, their technology, their essence, but they had never consumed anything like human emotion, refined and weaponized. Strike wings, engage, Zhang ordered. Human fighters, piloted by individuals whose ancestors had once hunted mammoths with stone spears, dove into the chaos. They flew with a recklessness that would have been suicide for any other species, their neural implants allowing them to process spatial calculations at speeds that bordered on precognition. Plasma weapons designed to fight in Earth's particle storm belts tore through Voidwalker forms. Kinetic rounds made from compressed dark matter, harvested from Jupiter's core, punched holes in reality itself. And through it all, the human fleet sang its battle song, each ship adding its voice to a chorus that made space itself vibrate. But the true innovation, the reason humans were feared throughout the galaxy, revealed itself as a massive human dreadnought. The UES Leviathan performed what should have been an impossible maneuver. It folded space around itself, not to travel, but to exist in multiple places simultaneously. Quantum superposition weaponized, Vera breathed. They turned theoretical physics into a weapon. The Leviathan fired from 17 different positions at once, each shot perfectly calculated to herd the Voidwalkers into a specific configuration. Other human ships followed suit, their movements no longer random but part of an intricate plan that only became clear as the Voidwalkers found themselves compressed into an ever-tightening sphere. Admiral, Torres reported, the Voidwalkers are attempting to phase out of our reality. Zhang's response was calm. Activate the cage. The asteroid ships revealed their true purpose. Each one split open, releasing clouds of nanomachines that had been engineered from extremophile bacteria found in Earth's deepest ocean trenches. The nanomachines formed a lattice around the compressed voidwalkers, creating a barrier that existed in multiple dimensions simultaneously. The voidwalkers were trapped. On Horizon's edge, the crew watched in stunned silence as humanity did the impossible. The unstoppable force had met not an immovable object, but something far more dangerous. Human ingenuity backed by the evolutionary pressure of a death world. "Commander," Dax's voice was hollow with disbelief. "They're winning." But John wasn't finished. The Prometheus moved forward, its biometallic hull now shining like a star. The ship's eye, a quantum consciousness named Prometheus, not coincidentally sharing its vessel's name, spoke through the comm system.